Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Bits and Bob's Back Shop. Now, we're not here for this guy. Those of you that have watched my previous episodes may remember a BR80 that was really noisy and ran really poorly. It had cracked gears. Just want to let you know, I had an idea and I remotored her. I still have the cracked gears on the axles, so those are holding up really well. But what we're truly here for is this guy. So this is a Fleischmann BR80. Millions of people have done videos on them. I've really enjoyed the Fleischmann locomotives. They have good detail, and they kind of, again, remind me of like the older Lionel post-war locomotives. They just run and run and run and run. A little bit of maintenance and they continue to go. This one I just recently picked up from eBay. It's my go-to site. I picked it up from a really good site, the Hobby Shop Trains, Tranz. They're a great company to work with. This one was purchased as cosmetics in good condition, and you can see that right here. Overall, it is in really good condition. Supposedly the lights work, but it doesn't move, so that could be one of a couple of things. So let's get into it and give her a quick test ride. So let's see. Yep. Uh-oh. Okay. Well, the lights did work. Let's change direction here. It's working, but I think I know what the problem is. If this interests you, stick around. We're going to get into it. Give her a clean, give her a bath. We're going to paint up the wheels after all clean. I'm not really a lover of the nickel tires. I like the wheels all red. I'll show you how I do that. Do some detail painting on the body, and the lights look like they were working at the same time on both ends, and I'm gonna see if I can just keep the bulbs, keep it all just DC, and make those lights directional. So again, if this interests you, stick around. We're going to get right into it. All right, here we are. So we're going to remove the screw right here. Pretty rusty. Bolt's pretty rusty. We'll get that all cleaned up. Now, okay, let's remove this wire. Alright, looks like we've got a very large metal weight, and it looks like it's bolted down here in the front. Alright, not a whole lot of wear, but yeah, there's the problem. So hopefully this opening isn't really wallered out to the point where it can't be saved. because I think I could probably JB weld this dude back on. So let me continue with the teardown on the rest of this. Alright, well, we have some damage. We have this gear is okay, but this gear, if you look really close, has no teeth. So we'll have to be wary of that when we go ahead and put the side rods on. Otherwise this will be out of quarter. That hopefully shouldn't affect running. The side rods should carry it through. Alright guys, I'm back. The paint's dried, everything's cleaned. I ended up repainting the entire chassis. It was pretty gouged up. I painted the wheels, and if you could tell, the rear gear I ended up removing. I was concerned more with the teeth engaging, disengaging at the wrong time, causing binds, rather than just having this rear axle being driven by the side rods like 90% of the other locomotives are on the market. So this has been cleaned, everything's repainted, everything's clean and shiny. I cleaned, straightened out the end caps. This is for the front, as it has the steps, and you've got the little pilot guards. This is the rear one. Move those back off to the side there. These cylinder or steam chests have been cleaned, and then I have highlighted the valves on the bottom, or I should say the piping on the bottom for the steam cylinder. What is that, cylinder cocks? There you go. Motor, since it was already depinionized there, chucked it up in a drill, took some 3000 to this. It's gorgeous, looks like a new penny. The motor, brush plate, everything else, all been cleaned. Now the body came out surprisingly well, so she shined up as well. I fixed both pairs of steps. They were both broken, or I should say cracked. I glued them, I touched them up with some paint, and then I extended, I don't know if you could see that, but I extended the black of the handrails down over these cylinders. Yeah, there you go. The air cylinders or whatever, and I've done that on both sides. Yep, there you go. And then I used I use this stuff. It's excellent stuff. It's called True Metal, and it's a wax-based paint, and I have it in brass. And I hit the little pop-off valve there, so this came out really well. And when it comes to the lighting, I did end up doing diodes for the incandescent bulbs so we can get directional lighting rather than both lights being lit as it runs. It did take 12 to 13 volts for them to actually start coming out of these light pipes, the light being bright enough to be seen, so I did cheat. The original bulbs were 5mm in diameter, and I did have some 5mm diameter warm white bulbs or LEDs like here. So since this metal housing gets its return path through this brass conductor, which then gets bolted to the top of the chassis through the weight, and it also holds the body on, and this is how the electricity gets from one end to the other. I ended up curling one end of the LED depending upon forward or reverse, whether it's the longer lead, which is positive, or the shorter lead, which is negative, around, and then pressing this into the opening where the original bulbs went back here. And then I used the original terminal that contacted the pin on the back of the bulb right here to slide over. It had a hole in it on each one, and slid it over. You know, I won't focus that close, but slid it over and then folded over the other LED leg. So this is a dropping resistor here to protect the LED from overvoltage, and then this is a resistor here. This is the back side, because this is the wire that hits the top of the motor. If you remember when we disassembled it, it kind of came up like that. So this will be the rear. This will come on going backwards. This one will come on going forwards. So let's get this back together again.
With every step we claim this town, our laughter
Alright, now that we have a majority reassembled, I'm going to break out the JB Weld here, grab a toothpick, and I'm going to mix up a real small batch. All we need is enough just for the pinion shaft. That seems ample. Let's get the hardener. Wow, there we go. Now the pinion's already been cleaned inside and out, so obviously is the motor shaft. I've held off from oiling the actual armature shaft on this side. And what I'm gonna do, put a little bit right in the center. Work it around a bit. We want to keep the mess on this side of the pinion because this is going to be facing out of the motor. This is going to be going towards the motor, so we don't want it to bind up. You know, we don't want to JB weld the motor shaft to the bearing, the bushing. So I'm just gonna take a little bit here, just keep filling it up. Want to make sure that it's coming out the other side, which it is. If I can twist my arm that way, yeah, okay. And then now, going to gently press this on. Okay. All right. So all of our mess is on this side as we wanted. And what we're going to do now is just come by and take it off. Keep it away from the gears. We don't want it in the teeth. That's a big no-no. Just want it. We want to bind the armature to the pinion. And I gotta be honest, I'm really impressed with this stuff because I've done this repair in the past and it's exceptionally strong. And it looks like we have a good mesh. That's perfect. And now we'll set that off to cure, but in the meantime we can get the buffers, the handrails, the other parts on. Clean my hands up. So now the front has got the steps, just like this. Front has got the steps, everything's been kind of squared back up. We're going to take two cleaned up buffers. I polished them with a mini cheek poker on my Dremel right there. And then we'll take a coupler. And then we need a spring, a tension spring. Like that. This locomotive was full of hair. And that's probably one of the major reasons why that rear gear stripped out and this pinion gear ended up loosening up. I mean, it was bad. Alright, it's starting to look like a steam locomotive again. We're going to let this cure. I'm going to go ahead and take a short break. We've got to put the brushes in. I'm going to end up having to remove the motor one more time so that I can fit up this, which I may end up just fishing the wire down. To hell with it, because this has got to go up here, this coil's got to go here. I think I'm just going to unsolder it from here, because you know what? I'd really like to know what this did. This did absolutely nothing. There was no wire soldered off of it, nothing. So we'll go ahead and get a piece of wire for this. In the meantime, we're going to let all this cure, and we'll be back. Okay. I figured while the JB weld is still curing, I'm going to unsolder our connector here. I'm going to prep this for solder so we can actually get this to pick up some electricity. I imagine that this locomotive probably ran poorly with the one wheel, one rail pickup there. I already have an extra piece of wire I've stripped. We're going to tin this, and then we're going to assemble the bottom half right here. Okay. since we're doing LEDs, we need one protection device, and that is a noise suppression capacitor. Okay, that gets soldered across the positive and negative leads, and the reason we do this is because we've all seen sparking at between the brushes and the commutator. Well, that sparking is what could lead to LED's shortened life. Believe it or not, that could be hundreds of volts, if not more, even though you're only running 12 volts into it at max speed. And that'll end up shortening the LED's life substantially. Turn off the excess. Let's get the other side tacked. Okay, let's make sure we have good electrical pickup. The JB weld has solidified. Hasn't completely hardened, but we were able to just test this. Okay. Make sure additional pickup wire is out of the way, and then this will hold this down. Okay. Wind up there. There we go. Now it should just slide down like that. There, we got a little bit more to go. There we are. What's going on here? All right. Whoop. Come on now. Stay down. All right. We got to put this in. Okay. I'm going to hit that with just a little bit of WD-40 to keep that from rusting. Alright, so I guess let's go to the track, see how this one runs. Hopes it runs as good as it looks. Here we go, double heading. The BR89, or Fat Anna as I understand she is called, was the inspiration for me to get the BR80. Both are running extremely well. As you can tell, there's a lot of changes that have been done to the layout, and once I get a better idea of the direction I want to go, I'll be sure to keep all of you in the loop with builds and 3D prints and scenic ideas. We'll go over weathering rail and ballasting the track, and I even got a few more kits I'll do reviews on. So once again, thanks for hanging out with me. If you did like what you see here, please feel free to like and subscribe. Costs nothing to subscribe, and it lets me know and YouTube know that you like what you see here. Alright, thanks everyone. Once again, this is Bernie with Bits and Bob's Back Shop, signing off.